I'm Melinda, and I'm coming to you from the Armory Learning Arts Center in Montgomery, Alabama. Today I'm going to be presenting a gentle yoga practice, and gentle yoga is exactly what it sounds like. What we're aiming for today is a gentle stretch, a relaxing stretch for the whole body. Nothing too hard. So don't push. Let it be relaxing, let it be fun, and hopefully this will feel good. I ask you to use your common sense. If your doctor has told you not to do something, please don't do it. And if you think that something just isn't right for you, if it doesn't feel good or if it hurts, well, don't do that either. Use your common sense. It's also okay to modify what I'm doing. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. For example, if I reached a hand straight up in the air, but maybe your shoulder doesn't like that, maybe instead you reach out, or you reach this way, or you reach down. That's also what gentle yoga is about, okay? Things that you might want to have to help you with this practice are definitely a yoga mat so that you won't slip. You'll want to clear out the space around you so that you won't get hurt on furniture or anything that might slip and trip you. You might want a couple of blankets or a couple of big towels that you could fold up and use for padding under your hands and knees, or you might use them as a pillow under your head if you wanted to. Some people like a yoga block. Substitutes for that might be a stack of books, or even better, a sturdy chair that won't move. We would use that in some places, like if we were bending over and maybe your body is a little tight and it's not easy for you to bend over. Maybe you could bend over and put your hands on a chair or on this yoga block instead of trying to go all the way down, and that might make it a little bit more comfortable for you, okay? So let's get going. And I like to start my practices with a little bit of kind of calm down time so that we have time to adjust from whatever it was that we were doing from the outside world and start coming into the inside world so we can relax and stretch out and calm down. So for that part, you can be in any position you want. You can sit, lie down, stand up, stand on your head, whatever pleases you, okay? That was a joke. So let's get going. I'm going to sit and close my eyes. And we're just going to start by simply being aware of what's going on around us. The sounds around us. The sounds around you are probably different than what I'm hearing. Take it in. What do you hear? Notice the sensation of air against your skin, maybe against your face and hands. Notice that it has temperature. It might be moving, it might be still. Notice the feeling of clothing touching your body. You might feel the sensation of the surface that you're sitting or lying on. Is it solid? Is it flat? Is it bumpy? What does it feel like? Now begin to notice your body. And what does it feel like today? You might notice your feet, your hands. You might notice your belly. And let your belly go soft. Begin to relax. Let your shoulders relax. And your face. That's something that people forget a lot. Let your face relax. Notice that your body is breathing for you. You don't have to do anything to make it breathe. It just does that for you. Yoga is all about breath, and you're going to hear me remind you to breathe over and over and over, because we all need that reminder when we're concentrating. So notice now that you're breathing, and notice what's going on with your breath. I mean, do you feel it in any one particular part of your body, like your shoulders or your belly or your chest? Let those areas relax. They're getting softer and softer. You're beginning to let go of your tension. and your breath just moves naturally. Keep following that breath. All right, here we go. We're going to start with the warm-up part of our program today. So I like a pillow, and I'm going to use a folded blanket for that. If you prefer to have your head flat on the floor or use something else for a pillow, go right ahead. All right, so let's start with our warm-up. I'm going to pick up one knee and pull it in toward my body and grab around it with both hands. If you have a knee problem and you prefer to grab behind your knee, that's okay too. So we're going to give it a gentle pull in and breathe and set it down. And now the other side, of course. So a gentle pull in and breathe and set it down. Let's do that again. Breathe and breathe. Breathe up and breathe down. Pretty simple, right? So let's add to that. Breathe up. And now take your leg up. Okay, so this comes up a lot for people. If your leg does not naturally come straight when you put it up in the air, no worries, that's fine. The goal is just a nice gentle stretch somewhere in the leg or maybe even in the hip. And if your leg doesn't come straight, no worries. Just go until you feel just a little stretch. And bring it back in and down. Remember to keep breathing. In. Take it up. Keep breathing. Holding to stretch, but not holding your breath. Breathe it in and down. Now let's add a little more. Breathe it in. Breathe up. Breathe it back in. Now let's breathe it out to the side. So I'm using one hand to pull gently out to the side. A little stretch, not a big hard one. And then toward the inside, and if you're doing like I am and you're running into your other leg, then move your other leg a little bit. So gently pulling across toward the center line of your body. Back to the center and down. Other side, breathing it up. And up in the air. Back toward your chest. Now we'll be going toward the outside. So one hand pulls toward the outside. And one hand pulls toward the inside. Move your leg if it's getting in the way. Back to the center, pull in one more time. And set it down. Now let's slide our legs down the mat and extend them. Give them a little shake. I like to do that to relax. All right, bring it back to center. And now let's gather both knees in towards your chest. And you can do that with both knees together. I'll move my hand so hopefully you can see. Either both knees together or both knees apart. If you have a larger body, it might be easier to breathe and more comfortable if you have your knees fairly wide apart so that you have more space for your torso and more space to breathe. Remember, you can modify a gentle yoga practice to be anything you want it to be, and it's really adaptable to many, many bodies. Okay, so I'm pulling in. This is knees to chest pose. I'm going to rock around on the floor a little bit just because that feels good to my back. And breathe, and let's set our feet down. Okay, so your feet and legs can rest in any position that you'd like to have them in for the next couple of minutes while we work with our arms just a little bit. I'm going to bring up one arm and just circle in the air. See, really easy. And now let's stop it. Move all your fingers. Try to get all the joints in your fingers moving. Move your wrist. And move your elbow a bit. Okay, other side. So arm up, great big loose circle going around from the shoulder. Last one. And now let's do fingers. Get every joint in every finger moving. Now wrist. And elbow. All the way down. Take a nice deep breath, let your shoulders relax. And now breathe and bring both arms up. And let's make big circles again, but this time they're going to crisscross in the middle, so they sort of intersect in the middle. Keep breathing. And this time let's reach out. So I'm reaching out with my palms up facing the ceiling, reaching out to the sides. Nice gentle reach, don't cause yourself pain. And bring it down. Let everything relax. The weight of your shoulders is falling back and your belly and face are relaxed. All right, we'll go back down to hips and legs for a moment. And I'm going to bring my arms out to the side, palms up, and start in this position with my legs bent, my feet resting on the mat comfortably. Watch my knees. I call this windshield wipers. You can probably see why. It's pretty easy. So both knees are going to the same side, same time. And you might also look at my feet. They're rolling from their inner edges to their outer edges. I'm not trying to keep my feet flat at all. I'm letting them move. So if your body is pretty tight, or maybe you have injuries, maybe this side-to-side movement is pretty small, like I'm doing right now. It's pretty minimal. If you don't have physical problems or you're a little bit more flexible, maybe the movement is a little bit bigger. But I would like you to keep it pretty slow. The slower we are, the more aware we can be. And awareness helps us prevent injury. When we know what's going on, we're a lot less likely to get hurt. Plus, slow is generally more relaxing. So let's keep it slow. Breathe and roll. One more set, one more to each side. Back to center, knees to chest. Pull in, nice gentle stretch. And let's reach up with each leg one more time. So I'm taking both hands over one knee, holding it in place, and just reaching up with the free leg. Remember, it's okay if your leg does not come straight, or if it's out here instead of straight up, it's fine. Work with your own body. Breathe in, exchange, and up we go. Breathe. All the way down. All right, now I'm going to come over and lie on my side. If you'd like something under your head, if you're not using a pillow, you could fold your arm and use under your head, or you could fold a pillow and use that. I like to use my blankets. So this is a strengthening move and also a mild balance move. I'm going to use my free hand resting on the mat or on the floor in front of me. I'm going to lengthen both legs and stack them one on top of another. When you do that, you'll probably notice that immediately it becomes a little harder to balance. What I don't want to see is this, tucking your chin towards your chest. Instead, just keep your head at a natural angle. Take a breath. And if you want to make it a little bit harder, then lift the top leg away from the bottom one. There's the strength part of the move. If you're much more flexible or much more fit, you could lift it higher as well. Up to you. Make the practice work for you. Keep breathing. All right, all the way down, and to rest, we're going to curl up. Close your eyes for a moment and just rest. Big breath in, big breath out. All right, let's move to the other side. So that you can see me, I'm going to put my head at the other end of the mat. Take your time. All right, free arm helping you to balance, so on the mat or on the floor. Stack your legs one on top of each other, so you're lying on a small surface, small Small balance, right? Okay, breathe. And if you want to make this harder, you can lift a leg. See me sway, it makes my balance harder. Breathe. If you want to lift it even higher, you can do that. Just don't hurt yourself. Breathe. Working for hip strength too. Great. Bring it all the way down. Curl up, close your eyes, rest. Take a deep breath. Let it out. And now we're going to work our way up to a seated position. So take your time doing that. I would suggest using your hands to press against the floor to help get you up. Now, a word about sitting. If you have a tight body, when you sit on the floor like this, you might find that your knees are way up here. There's a pretty easy fix for that. If you'll sit on a couple of stacked blankets, like I'm about to do, then it will probably be more comfortable for you, and your knees will probably drop down to a more comfortable position. See mine do? This really works well for me. All right. So, seated work. Let's stretch our necks just a little bit. So, keep it simple. Turn your head to one side. Notice that I'm not turning my shoulders, I'm turning my neck and head. And breathe, turn to the other side. So, if you have a neck injury or a neck problem, as a lot of people do, and this does not feel good or you shouldn't do it, please don't. Only do what feels good. Bring it back to center. Now very gently tuck your chin down towards your chest. Don't roll your shoulders forward. It's just your neck and head that are moving. And back up. Keep breathing. Let's look up. Back to center. Relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath. Try to breathe deep in your belly. Try to breathe low. Imagine that your lungs are on either side of your belly button, and try to breathe really low. Breathe down. In and out. Just something to play with. All right, now let's warm up for a side bend. So I'm simply going to tilt a little bit one way and then the other. Keep it slow so you don't make yourself dizzy. Nice and slow. Try to relax your neck as much as you can. Breathe. And now we'll take it a little deeper. If you're sitting on blankets, you can either let your hand come to rest on the side of the blanket or down on the floor, whichever you prefer. And feel the side stretch and the back stretch from this. If you're not feeling any stretch, then you might try moving your hand out a little bit further. And you could bring your free arm up and over and reach with it. Your head could turn to look down or out or up. Breathe. Nice, gentle stretch. And next breath, your hand comes down, and the weight of your arm is going to help pull you upright. Take a breath in the center. Let's go to the other side. So hand on your blanket if you want to, or down on the floor if you prefer. And stop and assess. What do you feel? Do you really need to go further? If you do, then move your hand. If you need more, breathe the upper arm up and reach. So this time, maybe I choose to look down. Still breathing all the time. Keep it relaxed. And now the upper arm will come down, and its weight helps carry us up. Breathe. Nice and soft. All right, now let's work with a twist. Twists are great for strength, stretch, and relaxation, but if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, you want to be especially careful with twists and with forward bends. Good safety tips would be keep your shoulders very wide and your chest very wide. Keep your spine very long. So what we wouldn't want is something like this when you're bending forward or when you're twisting. You see how I'm collapsed? You don't want to do that. You want to be safe, tall, wide, and strong. So as I start to twist, I'm going to twist without using my hands and only go as far as my body tells me it's ready to go. I don't go to pain. Don't hurt. Now as I go over to the side, I'll go about as far as I feel like is appropriate, something that feels like a nice gentle stretch. And then I'll drop my hands to hold me in place. So notice that I did not drop my hands and yank myself around, okay? Hands are just for holding you in place. I have one hand on the opposite knee and one hand somewhere behind me. So maybe it's on blankets or maybe it's on the floor behind you. You're going to stay wide through the chest, tall through the spine, and don't slump. When you're breathing in the next time, let go. Turn gently and slowly to the other side. Go as far as you want to, no pain. Drop your hands, one hand to the opposite knee, one hand behind you. Stay tall, shoulders stay wide. And then just let go. Your body will come back to center. Take a breath. All right, let's shake out our legs a little bit. All right, we're going to get to hands and knees now. I really like to use padding for my hands and knees. If you choose not to, that's fine too. Just make it work for your body. So here I go, hands and knees. I'm going to table pose, which is just our basic hands and knees sort of pose. Here's my padding. And I like to let my fingers drop over the front. If you have tight wrists, this is the classical position for this, for table pose, but if you have tight wrists, you might want to move your hands out in front a little bit to allow for your tight wrists, okay? That works too. All right, breathe. Think about a long spine and wide shoulders. Now let's take a leg back. So I'm going to start with my left leg and reach back with my toes on the floor and reach back with my heel. We want a gentle stretch, not a pain. So make it work for you. Breathe. And now breathe it back. And do the other one. So I'm reaching back, toes on the floor, reaching back through my heel. My spine stays long. And bring it back. Take the pressure off your wrists, shake them out one at a time. Okay, now let's add to that. So breathe leg back. Now if you want to make it harder, you can lift the leg. You get a strengthener out of that. Spine stays long. And bring it back. Other side. If you prefer to leave your foot on the floor and just reach back through the heel, that's fine too. So here it is, version 1 and the lifted version 2. Spine stays long. And down we go, breathe. Shake out your wrists. And now let's sway a little bit, forward and back. Breathe. You'll feel your weight coming more on your hands when you're forward and more on your knees when you're back. And now I'm going to reach my hands forward a bit, spread out my fingers just a little bit so that there's a little space between them, and gently pull back, letting my head drop until I feel a stretch somewhere in my body. It could be in a lot of places. Keep breathing. This is puppy dog pose. And bring yourself back up to table. Great. Now we're ready to stand up. And here's where you really want to move slowly and carefully and take your time. I'll stand up and then I'll stop and give you a minute to get rearranged. Take your time. All right, let's start with the basics. Mountain pose. Mountain pose is the basic for all standing yoga poses. We build everything else from that. So to build a mountain pose, I build it from my feet up, from the soles of my feet up. So start by swaying a little bit from right to left and feel how your weight transfers. You'll feel more weight on one foot and then more weight on the other foot. And start to notice not only that, but what the rest of your body is doing. Do you feel that weight transfer somehow into some other part of your body? Do you feel stress in some other part of your body? What do you feel? Now settle it back in the center, and we're going to very carefully do a similar thing going forward and back. Be careful and don't lose your balance. So I'm going forward and back, forward and back very carefully. Noticing what you feel in your feet and also in the rest of your body. What's going on? Now bring it back to the middle so that the weight is spread out over both feet equally, and you're not right or left, you're not forward or back, but the weight is just spread out evenly over your feet using all parts of your feet. Relax your shoulders, relax your face and your belly, and breathe. This is mountain pose. If you're doing your mountain pose right, you should be able to breathe easily and be reasonably comfortable, okay? It shouldn't be a strain. All right, here we go. Upward hands pose. This is one of the ones that you could easily modify. If your arms don't want to go up straight like this, it's okay. If they need to be bent or at another angle, that's okay. Make it work for you. Upward hands. And now down. Bend your knees and sit down toward the ground. This is a version of chair pose. And I'm going to make sure that my knees are pointed the same direction that my toes are pointed. So you might want to look down and then look back up at me. Up we go, upward hands. You can look up if you choose to. And back down into our version of chair. Knees pointed the same direction as toes. Back up to center, arms out. Pull gently toward one side. I'm reaching out with my fingers, and gently toward the other side. Breathe. Arms down. Okay, here's our first forward bend. So I'm going to step wide, and if you have tight legs or tight back and you think that maybe you couldn't reach all the way down to the floor easily, and a lot of people can't, then why don't you get a yoga block or a chair and put it in front of you so that you can use that. We're going to step out wide and bend your knees. That's for the safety of your back. When you bend, you're going to tip from your hip, not your waist. So what we don't want is that. We don't want to cave in. We want to tip from the hip. So I'm going to bend my knees, tip from my hip, let my bottom come out behind me, and bring my hands down. So maybe for some people, their hands might be on their thighs. Some people might be a little bit lower down on their legs. Some people might be down on the block. Or if you're very flexible, maybe your hands are on the floor. Do what works for you. Breathe. And now bend both knees. Bring your hands back up to your thighs. Push with your feet, push with your hands, pull in with your abs, and come back up. Great big breath, arms up, reach. And the gracefully fall. Down we go. Step together, back into mountain pose. Now let's work with warrior 2. That is the number 2, warrior number 2. I'm going to turn facing the short edge of my mat, bring my right foot forward, left foot back. Classically, I would have my feet in a straight line, but in gentle yoga, we allow a lot more wiggle room. So I step one foot out to the side and then bend my front knee. You want to make sure that your knee does not come way forward of your ankle because you'll lose your support that way. You might hurt your knee. So keep your knee over or behind your ankle. Right hand forward, left hand back, and then relax your shoulders a little bit. Breathe. Reach out with your fingers. Keep your breath flowing through your body. Look forward in front of your front hand. And now drop your hands. And you're going to turn a little bit toward your front knee. You can move your back foot if you want. Straighten out your front knee. Put your hands on your thighs and tip from your hip, not from your waist. Keep your spine long, chest open, chest wide. If you're more flexible, you could walk your hands down your leg or even down on the floor if you wish. Breathe. Bend your front knee, walk your hands back up, and breathe. Soften your knees and step. Let's do the other side. So this time I'm left foot forward, right foot back. My back foot's turned out for balance a little bit. Remember the bent knee and the thing about being over your ankle. Left hand in front, right hand back. Drop your shoulders, relax, and breathe. I'm reaching out a little bit with my fingertips, looking forward. I really like this pose, it's fun. Breathe. And now down we go with the hands. Gently turn towards your front leg. Move your back leg if you need to. Take your front leg a little straighter. Hands down, tip from your hip. Walk down. Where do your hands want to be? Here, 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 lower. It's up to you. Long spine. Breathe. Bend the knee. Roll back up. Soften both legs and step. Take a breath. Inhale, both arms up. Reach. Exhale, sit down. Inhale up and down. And I'm going to forward fold. If you wanted to get a yoga block or a chair and sit in front of you, you could do that here. Right? Bend your knees, tip from your hips, down we go. I'm going down with the support of my hands, stopping wherever I feel like I should. I'm looking for a mild stretch. You could go all the way down if you're more flexible. To come back up, we bend our knees first, bring our hands to thighs. Now push with your feet, push with your hands, and rise back up. Use the support of your hands to help you get up. Reach out. Wide chest, pulling back through the shoulders, stretching out. And back down. Mountain pose. Take a breath. All right, let's work back down to a seated position. So I'm going to readjust. You do the same and we'll meet up in a minute. For some people, sitting cross-legged like this is very comfortable, and for others it isn't. So if you prefer to sit in another way with your knees in front of you or your legs stretched out, that's okay. Do it. Take a breath. Let's close our eyes for a minute. And just go back to being aware of your breath, aware of your body, aware of your surroundings. Try to breathe just a little bit deeper, a little bit longer than your normal breath. It shouldn't feel strained. It shouldn't feel like you're working terribly, terribly hard. It should be fairly easy, just a little bit longer than your normal breath, a little more full. Those long, full, easy breaths will help you to relax. And it just feels good. It's good for your body. I'm letting every part of my body move with my breath. I'm not restricting my belly at all or my chest at all. I'm letting everything move as it wants to while I'm breathing. One more deep breath, in and out. Relax your shoulders and your face. All right, let's come back up and we'll work with neck stretch a little bit. Take a breath in, right ear toward your shoulder. You might drop your left arm and let it dangle so that you get a little bit more stretch here. And breathe. Back up to center, your hand comes up too. Now left ear toward your left shoulder. And maybe your right hand dangles. Let it pull on your shoulder a little bit. Just relax, release that tension. We all have tension that builds up in our shoulders during a hard day, so let's let it go. Breathe it back up. All right, turn your head left. Not your shoulders, just your neck and head. and then right. Back to center. And here's one that I learned from one of my students. I really love this one. Imagine that you're going to draw a little figure 8 with the tip of your nose. Let yourself have fun and be a kid. Go really slow and really gently. And yeah, you'll probably hear a little bit of popping and cracking from your neck. Most of us do. Just be gentle. And if it hurts, don't do it. Back to center. Breathe. Let's take our hands out in front. I'm going to interlace my fingers and turn my palms over and reach out, stretch. And release that. And let's reach back instead. So both hands low and back. I'm widening through my chest, widening through my collarbones, pulling back. Oh, that feels nice. And all the way down. All right, I'm going to work back down onto my back. Remember, you can use a pillow if you want to. Arms out to the side. Windshield wiper. You probably remember this from the beginning of class. I love windshield wipers. It helps me stretch out my back when I'm tight. From side to side, I'm keeping my shoulders on the floor. That's the resistance to my stretch. And now maybe, if your back feels good with it, maybe you drop your knees a little further to one side. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. And to the other side, into a simple basic twist. My shoulders are staying on the floor. Back to center, both knees to chest. And then both hands over one knee while the other leg comes up. And it gently falls down. It might get all the way to the floor and it might not. Either way is fine. Don't worry if it doesn't come all the way to the floor. Take a breath. Breathe it back in. Knees to chest. Both hands over one knee. And the other leg up. Reach up. And down we go. Nice and easy. Don't push. Just let it fall. All the way down. Knees to chest. Last time. Give yourself a little roll around massage on the floor. And now we'll go to the best part, and that's a short relaxation. I like a guided relaxation at the end, so just be comfortable. Any position you want is fine, sitting or lying down. I'll give you a minute to rearrange while I'm talking. I think the best part about yoga is that it does help us to relax and calm down, and who doesn't need that in the modern world? I mean, we all do, right? So don't skip this part. This is really the great part. My students tell me that anyway. All right, so you're going to get comfortable. You can relax with your eyes open or closed, whatever makes you feel good. I'm going to close mine. Just become aware again of your body and what it feels like. Notice that it's breathing for you, and just let it do that now. Let your body take over and breathe for you. Let your shoulders relax. Let your belly relax. Let the weight of your legs relax down into the ground, into the floor. Relax around your eyes, around your mouth, especially at the jaw hinge where people tend to hold tension. Let that go. Everything's slack. Nobody cares what you look like. Relax. And just breathe. Nice and slow. Letting go of any physical tension that's left. Letting go of any worries. Take a few moments to enjoy your life. And just breathe. purpose of this video, we're going to do just a short relaxation, but you could stay here and relax just as long as you like. If you're coming out, remember to take it slowly and gently. Maybe do some little easy movements of your hands and feet first. Don't just get up and jump and run because you'll lose your relaxation. Keep it slow and gentle as you finish up. Thank you so much for joining me for this gentle yoga practice coming to you from the Armory Learning Arts Center in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm Melinda from Recreation Movement.